Hi, my name is Ashley Arnold, and I'm a WPS assessment consultant. Today I'll be talking to you about the School Psychologist WPS Toolkit. So, I am an employee of and receive a salary from WPS, Western Psychological Services, the publisher of the products mentioned today. However, I don't receive any royalties from the sale of these tests, and this video is simply just so that school psychs can have a better idea of some products that are out there that you may be unfamiliar with. So today I'm going to quickly just overview some products that touch on adaptive behavior, developmental behavior, self-concept, anxiety, and autism. First up, we have the ABIS 3, or the Adaptive Behavior Assessment System, 3rd edition. So the ABIS 3 has 3 scoring options available: paper and pencil, desktop software scoring, or you can use our online evaluation system. All of the scoring options make use of the intervention planner, which is really the most useful thing of the ABIS 3. So, what is the intervention planner, you ask? Well, as you finish scoring the product, it will give you intervention activities based off the different items that the child received low scores on. This is the part of your evaluation that can be beefed up by use of the intervention planner. It can be used to make individualized student-specific recommendations for both parents and school staff members. There's 5 different rating forms available that look like this, that are available in both English and Spanish. The ABIS 3 really does cover the entire lifespan, as it goes all the way from birth to age 89. And then we have parent and teacher versions available, or daycare providers at that age. Also, for those of you that work in secondary settings, there is an adult version as well. So, on the ABIS 3, you're going to get a general adaptive composite score, and then you're also going to get 3 domain scores of conceptual, social, and practical. And with each of those subdomains, you're going to get 10 different skill areas that focus on a variety of skill sets seen in children and adolescents. Depending on the version that you use, you may also get a work scale or a motor scale. Now, the ABIS 3 Spanish forms, specific normative data was not collected with Spanish-speaking individuals. The ABIS 3 Spanish forms are simply translations. When scoring the ABIS 3, you're going to get a standard score for the general adaptive composite score, as well as for the 3 domains. Then on those 10 different skill area scores, you will get scale scores as well. The standard scores and percentile ranks are based upon age. The descriptive classifications for the ABIS 3 are average, to high, and then below average, low, extremely low. And what I was referencing earlier, here's a sample intervention item. So after you finish scoring the ABIS 3, by using the intervention planner, it has a specific intervention activity tied to each of the ABIS 3 items. And this is simply items that you can use in your recommendations to really make sure that you're giving skill-specific and targeted recommendations. The Developmental Behavior Checklist 2nd edition, or DBC2, is our next item to discuss. Now, what's nice about the DBC2 is it was designed specifically for the intellectual and developmentally disabled population. So, unlike other rating scales, the DBC was designed to focus on difficulties specifically in the intellectually and developmentally disabled population. The norms are based on individuals with IDD, giving a relevant reference group. All the components of the DBC2 are digital. Now, when we say all products are digital, you can still go online to the online evaluation system and print out a paper form if necessary should the situation arise. The DBC2 comes in a parent and teacher rating scale form, and then also there's an adult form for those of you that work with the 18 plus population. The form only takes about 20 minutes to complete, and you'll get a score report, a rater comparison report, a progress report, and progress monitoring report, making the DBC2 useful for both initial and reevaluations. So on the DBC2, you're going to get a total score, and then you will get subscales. The subscales are disruptive, self-absorbed, communication disturbance, anxiety, and social relating. The DBC2 scores are T-scores that are based off the degree of the intellectual or developmental disability, whether it's mild, moderate, severe, or profound. The next item we're going to talk about today is the Developmental Profile 3rd edition, or the DP3. What's nice about the DP3 is it's easy to use. The questions are simply answered by either saying yes or no. The DP3 is available for ages 0 through 12, and there's also suggested intervention activities as well by using this tool. The DP3 is available with either an interview format or a checklist, and what you're doing is giving it to either parents or caregivers. Okay? The DP3 assesses 5 key areas of development, which makes it a fan favorite for those of you that work with the Part C to Part B transitions of IDEA, as the DP3 assesses physical, adaptive behavior, social emotional, cognitive, and communication, and it gives you a general development scale. So as you can see, it's quite useful in ensuring you conduct a full and individual evaluation of the little. There are 5 different scoring options for each of the 5 scales, with standard scores, age equivalents, percentiles, stainings, and descriptive ranges. And then you're going to get the overall general development composite, which is based off the score of those 5 subscales. The descriptive categories for the DP3 are easy to use and understand, with an average score being 85 to 115 and having below average or above average scores. Scores below 70 are referred to as delayed. Here's an example of what the DP3 scoring profile looks like. It is actually available in color. And as you can see, it's nice, easy to read, easy to complete. The next item we're going to talk about is the Piers-Harris 3, or the Piers-Harris Self-Concept Scale 3rd edition. Now, what most school psychs like about this is a brief self-report measure to really look at self-concept for the individual that you're assessing. It can really kind of be used as a screener or a quick check of the child's self-concept. It is a single 58-item form, so short, and again, easy to complete as the questions are answered either yes or no. There is an English and Spanish version available. The Piers-Harris 3 has 2 scoring options, paper and pencil, or via our online evaluation system. When scoring the Piers-Harris 3, you're going to get a total score, and then you're going to get domain scale scores, which comprises the overall measure of self-concept. So those domain scale scores that you're going to get are behavioral adjustment, freedom from anxiety, happiness and satisfaction, intellectual and school status, physical appearance and attributes, and social acceptance. So as you can see, it's a nice measure of different facets of self-concept in children. In addition, it has validity scales available, both inconsistent responding index as well as a response bias index as well. Keep in mind with the Piers-Harris 3 is you want high scores on this because that means that the child has a more positive self-evaluation of themselves. The Piers-Harris 3 is scored in terms of T-scores, and here are the descriptive ranges for those. The RCMAS-2 is another fan favorite. It's the Revised Children's Manifest Anxiety Scale, 2nd edition. Why most school psychologists like the RCMAS-2 is it's a quick self-report measure of anxiety for ages 6 through 19, and again, simple yes-no response format. With the RCMAS-2, you're going to get a total anxiety scale score. You're going to get a physiological anxiety, a worry, and a social anxiety scale as well. There's also a content-based cluster of 10 items that specifically ask about performance anxiety in there as well. The RCMAS-2 includes validity scales with inconsistent responding and defensiveness. What most school psychs don't know about the RCMAS2 is that if you have it, you also have the short form, because the first 10 items of the RCMAS2 can be administered as a short form that yields a short form total anxiety score, meaning that in less than 5 minutes, you can administer a self-report of anxiety. The RCMAS2 has 2 scoring options, paper and pencil, or our online evaluation system. By using our online evaluation system, you will be able to access both the English and Spanish versions. Now, what's nice about the RCMAS2 scoring descriptive ranges is instead of using average, above average, or below average, the quote-unquote average range is described as no more problematic than for most students. So, indicating that most children have some anxiety, but what they're experiencing is no more problematic for most students. It has moderately problematic or less problematic than for most students. Next up is for those of you that complete autism evaluations. WPS has 2 products that I want to quickly review that you may not have in your toolkit. First up is the SCQ Social Communication Questionnaire. The SCQ is a quick, easy way to screen for autism spectrum disorders. The SCQ has 2 scoring options, paper and pencil or via our online evaluation system. The SCQ is available in 2 forms, so make sure you know what you want when ordering. There's a lifetime and a current version. Each has 40 yes or no questions. The SCQ is given directly to the parent, so it's basically a parent checklist. It is available in both English and Spanish. The lifetime form, remember now there's 2 different forms. The lifetime form focuses on the child's entire developmental history, providing a total score that's interpreted in relation to specific cutoff points. Basically what it means, should a child get a score of 15 or more, it indicates that the child should be referred for a complete evaluation. So again, the lifetime form is really a good screener of autism. The current form is based off the child's behavior over the most recent 3-month period. It can be helpful in treatment planning, educational intervention, or just a measurement of change over time. So for example, with a reevaluation. For those of you that are fans and familiar with the ADIR, you'll be happy to know that the SCQ content parallels the content of the ADIR. And agreement between the 2 scores indicates that the SCQ is a valid screener. It can be used with children and adults with a mental age above 2 years. So really, subjects that have a chronological age above 4 can use this tool. There are translations of the SCQ available in many different languages. The final autism form that I'm going to talk about today is the Social Responsiveness Scale 2, or the SRS-2. The SRS-2 is reliable and valid, very time efficient, it's informative, and it starts as young as age 2.5 and goes throughout adulthood. The SRS-2 has 3 scoring options, paper and pencil, desktop software scoring, and an online evaluation system. Here's what the SRS-2 looks like, very colorful and used by very different ages. Here's an example of what the school age form looks like. So on this, there are questions that are answered either as not true, sometimes true, often true, or almost always true. So when using the paper form, you do have to ensure the respondent heavily fills in the bubble so it goes through the carbon paper. As I said earlier, the SRS-2 is a multi-dimensional tool, which means it can be used from preschool through an adult self-report version as well. What's nice about the SRS-2 is for those of you that work in the schools, the school age rating form, it's the same rating form is used, and it can be filled out by either parents or teachers. Obviously the norms are different, but when ordering products you're not going to find a parent or a teacher version. It simply comes in preschool, school age, adult, or an adult self-report. Again, what's nice about the SRS-2 is for those school psychs that work in 18+ programming, the adult self-report version is available, which is helpful sometimes in getting information from the adult student. With the SRS-2, you're going to get a total score that really looks at the severity of the social deficits in the autism spectrum. The SRS-2 is available through T-scores. Now, what's nice about the SRS-2 is it has 2 DSM-5 compatible scales, the Social Communication and Interaction Scale, and the Restricted Interest and Repetitive Behavior Scale. What's nice about the SRS-2 is it really helps practitioners differentiate between autism spectrum disorder and social or pragmatic communication disorder. With the SRS-2, you're going to get these subscales: social awareness, social cognition, social communication, social motivation, and then restricted interest and repetitive behavior. You'll see the T-score ranges within normal limits, mild, moderate, or severe. So what's nice about the SRS-2 for our autism evaluations is it looks at those different social deficits and really pinpoints what area of social skills the child displays potential deficits in. So, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me, and I'd be happy to follow up with any questions that you might have. And hopefully you've learned to include a few more products in your school psychologist evaluation.